Hi, this is Pre-Algebra lesson 4-3, represent and use the percent equation. In this lesson, you will be able to represent and solve percent problems using equations. Let's look at solve and discuss it. Fran is shopping for a new pair of shoes. She did some research and has narrowed the options to the two pairs she likes the most. Based on the buyer's reviews, which pair do you recommend that she buy? Explain your thinking. Okay, we have two pairs of shoes and they have some positive reviews. Let's look at the first pair. The first pair has 19 positive reviews out of 25 purchases or 25 reviews. The second pair has 99 positive reviews out of 132 reviews. So we might want to compare the reviews. How do you want to compare them? Do you want to compare the ratios? Because the ratio is 19 to 25 versus 99 to 132. It's kind of hard to compare. So let's make them into percentages and compare them as percentages, okay? So 19 out of 25, the first one will be 19 over 25. And that's about 76%. Because if you divide 19 by 25, you get 0.76, and change that to percentage by multiplying it by 100, and you get 76%. Okay, same thing, 99 out of 132. You divide 99 by 132, you get 0.75 times 100 is 75%. Okay, so the first pair has more positive reviews than the second pair by just 1%. It's really very similar, right? The percents are very close. But if you had to choose one, what would you recommend? At this point, there is no good answer. Like you can explain your reasoning and make it a good answer. So one way you can say, she should pick the first one because it has more percentage of positive reviews by 1%, which is not that many. So at this point, what's another thing that you think about when you make a purchase? Well, I don't know about you, but I usually, when they're kind of similar in positive reviews, I would go for whatever that has the more review, because that means more people bought it probably, right? And more people want to give a review. So if they are pretty close, as far as the positive review percentages, then you can also recommend the second pair because it has more reviews. So you could also say, or she should pick the second pair because it has more reviews. Okay. All right, let's focus on math practices. Describe another situation in which you could use ratios to make a decision. What's another situation? Come up with another situation that you could use ratios to make a decision. You might want to compare genders in different classes. Compare gender ratios for each class. Or what else? Ratio to compare. So usually you use ratios to compare. You can compare how many people participated in a survey. In a survey by date or a year. So maybe you do the same survey for each year, but you could also make a ratio of how many people participated, or how many people answered yes or no, or how many people answered, it depends on the survey questions, but you could use a lot of ratios for surveys, right? That's what surveys are all about. Let's look at, so that's why ratios are important. Let's look at our lesson now. How are percent problems related to proportional reasoning? Example 1, find the percent. In science class, students compared their vertical reach and height to see if they're proportional. Okay, so vertical reach is when you try to reach the top, the highest you could get, right? So my height is about 158 centimeters, but my vertical height, my vertical reach is gonna be a lot bigger than that. Maybe like, I don't know, 175, maybe 180. So in science class, students compare their vertical ends. Okay, so Maria is 60 inches tall and she can reach 75 inches high. What percent of her total vertical reach is her height? We're gonna make a ratio. So 75 is the vertical reach, height is 60 inches. You're gonna use proportional reasoning to develop the percent equation. So you gotta determine which one is the part, which one is the whole. What is 100% in this situation? It could either be your height and your vertical reach, but we want to focus on the vertical reach because the question is what percent of her total vertical reach. So total, whenever you see the word total, vertical reach is the total, right? So that's going to be 100%. Whenever you see total, that's your 100%. Okay, so 100% is going to be vertical reach. Height is going to be the part in this situation. And so you have 75 on the bottom, right? And then part on the numerator. So height 60 over vertical reach 75 is going to be your ratio. And then make it as a proportion by making it equal to P that you're going to figure it out of 100 because you want to find the percent, right? P over 100 is going to give you a percentage. So this equations show you how you can get a part equation whenever you have a proportion of part over whole equals P over 100. Okay, so your part is going to be percent times whole. 60 is your part, and that's equal to your percent, you don't know P, times vertical reach 75. And if you solve for P, divide 75 on both sides, and 60 divided by 75 is 0.80. So that's equal to 80%. Okay, Marie's height is 80% of her total vertical reach. Okay, so let's look at try question. See if you can do it by yourself and come back for answers. An elephant weighs 15,000 pounds on Earth and 2,500 pounds on the moon. Assuming the weights are proportional, what percent of its weight on Earth and its weight on the moon? So which one is the part, which one is the whole? What percent of its weight on Earth is its weight on the moon? So this question already tells you your equation. What percent? You don't know. So what percent is P? Of means multiply. Its weight could be what? Is the weight 15,000 or 2,500? Weight on Earth. Its weight on Earth. Wait, it's gonna be yeah, next. Weight on Earth is gonna be 15,000. Is equal to its weight on the moon, which is 2,500. That is our equation. P times 15,000 is equal to 2,500, which is also 2,500 is equal to P times 15,000. You just flip it because it's an equation. You can do that. Okay. Divide both sides by what? In order to get rid of 15,000, you divide both sides by 15,000. And so 2,500, and that's canceled out. 2,500 divided by 15,000 is equal to about 0.167. It's going to be 1666666 repeated. You can round it up. The elephant's weight on the moon is about how many percent? As in a whole number? 17% of its weight on Earth, or 16.7%. Okay. So how does the percent describe how the weights are related? What does this percent mean? So if the elephant weighs 100%, right? So whatever you weigh 100% on the Earth, on the moon, you're only going to weigh 17%. So it's going to describe the weight of the elephant on Earth compared to the weight of the elephant on the moon. Right? So let's write that down. Okay. Example 2, find the part. Many states have a meal tax that is proportional to the total spent on food and beverages. In one state, the meal tax is 8.44%. How much tax will a customer pay if the food and beverages total $54? Okay, so if you have the total food and beverage as 100%, you need to pay an additional tax of 8.44%. Okay, you can use the equation of the part to figure out the tax, right? Because tax is going to be the part. So tax is equal to the percent times the whole bill, right? So T is equal to 8.44 times B, which is 54 here. And if you multiply that, make sure that your percent is converted to the decimal. And then you multiply that decimal. You can't multiply percentage by the bill because that's still going to represent percentage, but you want the money, right? The tax. Tax is not going to be percentage. You want the actual money that represents that percentage. So 0.0844 times 54 is going to be equivalent to $4.5576. So you're going to pay additional 4.56 as a tax. So total, you're going to pay how much? 54 plus 4.56. Which is 58.56. You pay 58.56 total with the tax. Okay. So after you get T, you need to know what the number represent. It's going to represent dollars or the money, right? The money that represents the tax. Okay, example 3, find the whole. Jane earns 5.5% commission on the selling price of each home she sells. So every time she sells, it's her job. Every time she sells the home, she doesn't get the money. She works for the company, so she's gonna get a commission because she sold the house, right? But she doesn't get the money that comes from selling the house. She gets money from the company monthly, right? She gets paid from the company. So, but if she does a good job and she sells the house, she gets a commission, like a bonus pay. Okay, 5.5% of the actual sales. She earned $9,020 in commission on the sale of a home. That's a lot. What was the selling price of the home? So we know the part. We know that the part is 5.5% of the whole 100%. And if she earned $9,020 just for the part, 5.5%, what was the actual selling price for the home? So we can use the part equation to figure out the whole as well. We know the part, which is $9,020. That's equal to the percent of the part, 5.5%, which is 0.055 in decimals, times the whole is, you don't know. So that's going to be your variable. So figure out the whole by dividing the decimals 0.055 on both sides. 9,020 divided by 0.055 is going to be 164,000. Okay, so when you divide by a decimal less than 1 and greater than 0, of course, you're gonna get a bigger number, because that's like dividing a smaller number, a smaller fraction than 1. And if you change that to multiplication, your denominator becomes numerator, and that's like multiplying a number. Does that make sense? So it's your number is gonna get greater. And you should, because you started with 9,020 as 5.5%, and your whole is going to be much greater than that. So she sold the home for $164,000. Okay, so we know how to use the part equation to find the part and to find the whole. Let's look at the try question. See if you can solve it by yourself. Come back when you're ready for answers. Okay, to make a profit, a clothing store sells board shorts at 115% of the amount they paid for them. How much did the store pay for the board shorts shown? Okay, so we already know that this price tag is 115% of the amount they paid, which is 100%. Okay, so how much did the store pay for the board shorts shown? So first, the store has to buy the shorts first, right? They got to buy, and then they're going to sell it with a higher price. So the amount that they paid for the original shorts is going to represent 100%. Use the part equation. Part is equal to the percentage times the whole, right? So your part actually represents the money, not the percent. Your whole represents the money, not the percent. Only your percent represents the percent. Okay, so your part And in this example is actually the bigger part, 28. Okay, so 28 is equal to the percent of the part is greater. It could be greater, and that's totally fine. But your decimal is going to be greater than 1. Okay, times the whole is your 100% they paid. How much did they pay? You don't know. That's why you're trying to figure it out. So that's going to be your variable W. Okay, and then change the percentage into decimal. Divided by 100, you get 1.15 times W. In order to solve for W, what do? You divide both sides by 1.15. Okay, and then you get W is equal to 28 divided by 1.15, which is equal to $24.35. So the store bought the shorts for $24.35, and they're selling it for $28. All right, that was our lesson 3, represent and use the percent equation. In this lesson, we use the percent equation. It shows how a percent relates proportional quantities. The percent equation comes from the original part divided by whole is a percent. Okay, comes from the percent equation. It's the constant of proportionality, and the equation has the same form as y equals mx. All right, that was lesson 3. And thanks for watching. We'll continue with the next lesson in the next video. Bye.